Hello everyone. Today I want to share my views on psychology. In psychology, I want to share my views on Jean Piaget. As you all know that this topic or the knowledge of Jean Piaget is very important topic for all exams. Okay, and first of all, uh, before starting the topic, I want to share that if you are the first viewer of my channel, then please subscribe my channel. Okay, so starting with the Jean Piaget. First of all, the question has arise that who is Jean Piaget? From where he was situated? Okay, so Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist. Okay, it means that he was from Switzerland. Okay, and he was known for his work on child development. Okay, he has done lot of work on child development, child intellectual, and he gives a theory of cognitive development also. And when the theory of cognitive development and epistemological view are get together, then they all together was called genetic epistemology. Whenever the question has arisen in the exam that from where genetical epistemology arise, so Piaget theory of cognitive development and epistemological view are together called genetical epistemology. Okay, so Piaget Piaget give a great importance on education of children. It means that he had done a lot of work on education of children. Okay, so born. When was he born? He was born on 9th August 1896 in Neuchâtel, Switzerland. And when was he died? He was died on 16 September 1980 in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, and from where he was famous from? He was famous for constructivism, Geneva School, genetic epistemology, theory of cognitive development, object permanence, and egocentrism. These are some topics for which Jean Piaget was very famous. Okay, so I have some other questions about Jean Piaget. Like question number 1: who is Piaget and what is his theory? Okay, so the answer is Jean Piaget. As I have told earlier, that Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist, and his theory of cognitive development and epistemology view get together. Then it forms a genetic epistemology. And his theory of cognitive development is very famous, and he had done a work on child intellectuality or child development. Okay, so in the other form, he is famous for his theory of cognitive development that looked at how children develop intellectually throughout the course of childhood. Okay, now in the other question, what are the 4 stages of Piaget cognitive development? So Piaget has 4 stages. Okay, the first stage is sensory motor. What is the first stage of Piaget? Sensory motor. And what is the age in sensory motor? Birth to 18 to 24 months old. And what is the goal of this stage? Object permanence. Okay, object permanence. And the other stage is pre-operational. Pre-operational, the other stage of Jean Piaget. And what is the age in pre-operational? 2 to 7 years old. And what is the goal? Symbolic thought. Symbolic thought is the goal in pre-operational stage. Now the third one, concrete operational. The age in the concrete operational is 7 to 11 years, and the main goal in concrete operational is operational thought. And number 4, formal operational. and the age is adolescence to adulthood, and the goal is abstract conception, abstract concept. Okay, so these are the 4 stages: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, formal operational. Okay, now I have some. Now the other question is, how can teacher use Piaget's theory? This is very important question, that how can teacher use Piaget theory? In particular, his theory focus on the mechanism that help us to adapt and learn new concept or skills. It means that this theory gives us a knowledge about everything about child's development and new skills, new concepts that develop the child. Okay, and in the classroom, teacher can apply Piaget's stages, Piaget's theory of assimilation and accommodation. These are the important terms that I have described, and that I have described in the next topic. Okay, and it means that teacher uses the notion of assimilation and accommodation when introduce the new material. Okay, so this can help student approach a new idea through the lens of they have already learned. It means that the new idea has to become in the children's mind. Okay, and how the new idea can create this was the knowledge that is given by the Jean Piaget. Okay, so I have some Piaget theory of cognitive development also. These are some stages and cognitive process. In the stages that I have discussed earlier, that sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, formal operational stage, and cognitive process. In cognitive process, schema, assimilation, accommodation, equilibrium. These are some points in cognitive process in the Piaget's theory of cognitive process. These are some stages, these are some process. Okay, and I have some description of these points, some important terms that is very useful for us, like that. But before starting the topic, I want to share that if you are the first viewer of my channel, then please subscribe my channel and like my video and share my video also. Okay, some important terms like number 1, object permanence, that I have discussed earlier, that in sensory motor the child has a goal of object permanence. The question has arisen that what is object permanence, and object permanence is very important in the theory of cognitive development, first of all. And in this theory, the child has understand the object, that there is a existence of object का existence है, that they can be not be sometimes they are unseen object. Okay, and infant has dual mental representation. They have some view of the object, that there is a existence of object. Okay, like that the infant must first develop a mental representation of the object. They have in his mind that there is a existence of the object. It is the object permanence. Okay, now number 2, symbolic thought. I have earlier discussed that in pre-operational stage, which is the age of 2 to 7 years old, the main goal of this stage is a symbolic thought. So what is the symbolic thought? So symbolic thought is the ability to represent things. How do things can be represented? And it is the after the object permanence, it is the child's development that the child has to be identify the object, that this is the object. Although the language abilities are limited at this stage, but they might to be speak. They have to be habitual to speak. Sometimes some few words like, and but they can't read or write. They can't read or write. It means that the representation of the things are very important in this object, and the child has identified the objects, that this object is that, and it can be and he or she can speak some few words also. Okay. And number third, operational thought. I have I have discussed earlier that in concrete operational stage, which is the age of 7 to 11 years, uh, it is the goal of the concrete operational thought. In the child's mind, there is a logical thinking, there is a reversibility, that things has to be hustle and bustle, there is a conservation, there is a classification, there is a hypothetical situation, that this can be hustle and bustle of the objects can to be changed like that. And there are many concrete situations like that. And number 4, abstract concept. In the last stage of the Piaget, the formal operational, which is the age of adolescence to adulthood, it's the goal of formal operational, that is the abstract concept. So what is the abstract concept? That is the ideas that people can understand that has no physical form. We can only understand the things which is not in the form of physical form. It is the ability of identifying, understand, communicate, abstract concept. It means that all these three things, to understand, to communicate, and to identify, maintain the human intelligence. Okay, it means that if we understand the concept, that it is to identify the concept. So these are the some elements of the human intelligence. Okay, so what are the elements of human intelligence? The ability to identify, to understand, to communicate, abstract concept. Okay, and that has in our mind some ideas that has in our mind, and it is a mistake to think that all abstract concepts aren't real. Some abstract concepts are real, but we can't understand that. We think that abstract concepts aren't real, as they can be documented with evidence. They have also a evidence. So number 5, a schema. In the cognitive process, first of all point is the schema. What is the schema? A schema means first of all knowledge. We have a knowledge of some things, like a schema are the basic building blocks of such cognitive models. It means that we have some views of some things and enable us to form a mental representation of the world. We have some views of things in our mind, that we think something about we have a knowledge about something, like for example we think about some object. So first of all we have some because we all have some knowledge about some objects, so we have to be think. Okay, so we have developed mental representation of that object. It is the knowledge or building block of that object, that we have a knowledge of that thing. Okay, so a schema are the basic building block of such cognitive models and enable us to form a mental representation of the world. Okay, and Piaget has described as that a schema is a cohesive repeatable action sequence possessing component action that are tightly interconnected and governed by core meaning. Okay, so a schema was a cohesive and repeatable action. Okay, and also a possessing component action that can be interconnected. Okay, so basically a schema was a knowledge that we have gained about some doing work, about some objects, like that. Okay, number 6, assimilation. Assimilation refers to a part of adaptation process initially processed by the Jean Piaget. It means that assimilation is a part of adaptation. Adaptation means in which situation we have to live. This means to be adaptation. Okay, and through assimilation we take in new information or experience and incorporation them into our existing ideas. It means that assimilation we take in new information. It means that we have a new information or experience that we have to be ideas, existing ideas. We have many ideas in our mind. Okay, and if we want to gather some new information about that ideas, that and we have a more and more information about some objects, about some things, about some views. So to be get new information, that we have ideas in our mind, it is mind blowing. Okay, so assimilation is a good process after a schema, because we have a knowledge, of many things. But if we gather a new ideas, a new information about that object, it is assimilation. Okay, like that. Now, number 7, accommodation. Psychologist Jean Piaget defined accommodation as the cognitive process of revising existing cognitive schema. It means perception and understanding so that new information can be incorporated. It means that revising existing cognitive schema, we can revise the ideas and perceptions and understanding. It means cognitive schema, perception and understanding, and all these three things are to be get together: a schema, understanding, perceptions, and a new information can be incorporated. Okay, because we have a knowledge of the object and we have a new information, we have a understanding of the object. But when all these things are to be assimilated, are to be get together, then a new information can to be gathered. Okay, this happens when the existing schema knowledge doesn't work. This can be happened only when a schema doesn't work and needs to change to deal when a new object or situation. This can be only done when a new situation has to be created and a schema knowledge doesn't work. Okay, and a new situation has to be tackled in our mind or in our life. So we can have a accommodation. We have a new object, we have a new situation that has to be tackled. Okay, so number 8, equilibrium. Piaget believed that all human thoughts seek order and uncomfortable with contradiction. It may be that I have discussed earlier that we have all human beings, we have full of thoughts. We doesn't say that we don't have any thought. Like that we have discussed any object. We have a knowledge, we have a schema of that object, but we can't have a more knowledge or more a schema about that thing. But when we have in the process of assimilation, we get new information about the ideas. Okay, but these are very in equilibrium, these human thoughts seeks order because we have a hustle and bustle ideas in our mind. Okay, and we have sometimes contradictions about the object, about the thing. These are the new ideas, sometimes inconsistencies in knowledge structure, because we have a hustle and bustle situation in knowledge structures. Okay, in other words, we seek equilibrium in our cognitive structure. Equilibrium occur when a child schema can deal with new information through assimilation, that I have discussed equilibrium when child schema can deal with the new information, then when child knowledge can be tackled with the new information, with the assimilation. Because when the new information can gather in our mind, then we have a strike that this one is the correct or this one is the correct. So we want a order, that this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step. This is called equilibrium. Okay, so this is all about the Jean Piaget and Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Some stages I have discussed here. So please, if you like my video, so please like my video and share my video and subscribe my channel. So thanks.